Hey everyone, Izzy here from We've Got Issues. With the recent release of Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice on Blu-ray, I thought it'd be appropriate to offer some insight into the graphic novel that inspired the film, The Dark Knight Returns. 30 years on, and The Dark Knight is still one of the most influential stories in the comic book landscape. A lot of the graphic novel's lasting appeal has to do with the fact it works on two levels. Number one, purely as a straight-up action comic book. The story unfolds with a middle-aged alcoholic Bruce Wayne coming out of retirement in a dystopian future Gotham that has pretty much gone to hell. Think Liam Neeson playing a Liam Neeson-style character in the last 10 years, and you're on the right track. He's a darker, more brutal Batman, taking down crazed street gangs and old foes like Two-Face and the Joker, while gradually alienating the authorities that had demanded his retirement a decade before. Eventually, the story reaches one of the most epic beatdowns in comic book history. The first no-holds-barred fight between Batman and Superman. Characters traditionally portrayed as best friends by DC throughout the past 50 years together. Number two, on a higher arty-farty level, it explores the superhero as an idea, and that idea's examination of Cold War ideology, about the psychological connection between superheroes and their nemesis, about the kind of world a real-life Superman or Batman might function in. This was deep stuff in the mid-1980s, when the version of Batman that everyone still remembered and loved was Adam West beating up henchmen with the help of onomatopoeia. A clever spin on the comic book format is Miller's use of the page itself. Miller adopts a 16-panel grid, which allows him to set up the pacing and symbolism with the number of panels on the page. Early on, we're reintroduced to Harvey Dent, Batman's old nemesis, Two-Face. In this scene, Miller splits Harvey Dent's face with the gutter or space between the panels, repeatedly. Along with the dialogue, he foreshadows what some characters in the reader suspect about Harvey Dent's rehabilitation. This framing device is used time and time again. After lying dormant in a catatonic state for the last 10 years, the Joker relapses upon learning of Batman's re-emergence. At the exact moment of his awakening, the Joker's face is split in half by a panel gutter, like Harvey Dent and Batman, continuing this theme of splitting, returning to their real persona. The same goes for the Greek chorus of lampooned news anchors, talk show hosts, socialites, and 80s relevant politicians, such as Ronald Reagan, David Letterman, the Channel 4 news team, and Zsa Zsa Gabor. It fills in the details of what's happening outside of Gotham and maintains a lived-in feel as a result. One last pop culture reference worth noting if you find yourself reading Batman's word bubbles and this voice strangely comes to mind.
Better luck next time, fool.
Listen, punk. To me, you're nothing but dog shit, you understand? And a lot of things can happen to dog shit. It can be scraped up with a shovel off the ground, it can dry up and blow away in the wind, or it can be stepped on and squashed.
That's because one Inspector Dirty Harry Callahan is the inspiration for Miller's interpretation of Batman. When the book moves outside of Gotham, the story becomes more overtly political. The American flag as costume becomes important. The image runs throughout the later chapters, and always on someone's clothing. The best example of this is in the following page, where Superman can be read as a giant walking US flag, a state-sanctioned lapdog for the US government. Although it's a bit heavy-handed with the symbolism, the alignment of Clark Kent with the American Eagle/state in direct opposition to Batman's vigilante predator war is one of my favourite sequences in the book. If nothing else, it sets up the looming beatdown between their respective alter egos. In conclusion, you're either in or out with Miller and Jansen's artwork, which I feel suits the gritty subject material, but otherwise can come across as incoherent and childlike if you sit in the other camp. Same goes for the storytelling with literal symbolism and politics, which can be interpreted as a standard Western story. The old hero comes out of retirement to save his town one last time, rides off into a nice sunset. Or maybe it's altogether possible to conclude that Batman isn't fighting for the common good at all. He's forcibly retired and he hates it. The world has gone to buggery around him and he has no confidence that a democratic society can fix it. So he turns vigilante and takes on the government, eventually assembling his own private army to enforce his own brand of Bat Justice in Gotham City. It's this two-tier storytelling that makes me revisit the book every couple of years. So if you're looking to check it out, I have links to a couple of online stores below on my feed, or otherwise do the right thing and support your local comic book store. This is my first review, guys and girls, so let me know what you think. Any feedback is appreciated.